we are celebrating 75 years since Jackie Robinson became the first black man to play in a Major League Baseball game. On April 15, 1947, 28-year-old Robinson put on the Brooklyn Dodgers uniform, took his position at first base, and launched a Hall of Fame career. His impact off the field, though, earned him just as much praise.
An amazing man. James Brown spoke with Dave Zirin, sports editor of The Nation, about the enduring legacy of Jack Roosevelt Robinson.
It's the diamond anniversary for a sport that's, of course, played on a diamond. And it's a chance to remember, I think, the truth about Jackie Robinson. We're talking about somebody who broke baseball's color line in 1947, almost a full decade before Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. came on the scene.
Interesting that you referenced Dr. King. He recognized what with respect to Jackie Robinson?
It wasn't just Dr. King who understood what Jackie Robinson represented. In my research, I saw that Jackie Robinson was the #1 most requested speaker by southern branches of the NAACP during the Civil Rights Movement. #2 on their list was Dr. Martin Luther King. It says something about the stature that Jackie Robinson held in the movement, which we forget about. I want this anniversary to be a time to remember the Jackie Robinson of the 1950s and 1960s, someone who was a relentless fighter for what he referred to as first-class citizenship.
Did the narrative that he single-handedly changed things bother him at all?
It bothered him to no end. I would even argue that it tortured him. This idea that his entry into the national pastime was portrayed to the world as a triumph of the individual and even proof that America was entering a colorblind era. Jackie Robinson believed very strongly that society needed to change in order for people to have opportunities. He devoted his life to that idea. He was out there organizing marches and writing a political column with the New York Post. He was fearless. He would cross polemical swords with people ranging from Richard Nixon to Malcolm X. He had a point of view about how the country could advance, and he was willing to fight for that, even if it was at odds with his own myth.
When Malcolm X died, Jackie Robinson wrote very glowingly about him, meaning?
Yes. Meaning that Jackie Robinson felt that Malcolm X was on the same side. They were just operating with different beliefs and methods by which change would be achieved. But he saw anybody who was fighting for change as his brother or sister in the struggle.
His actions were clearly, palpably about the masses benefiting from it. Are you seeing any of that today?
There's been a new generation that's necessitated a shift in consciousness in the sports world. We've all seen it. That is in the best tradition of Jackie Robinson, but I think it can go even further for athletes to begin to realize that they have cultural power and they have financial power, and bringing that into communities in this country can have an incredible ripple effect on the broader society.
We look at Major League Baseball and see the diminution of Blacks who are participating. Give me your thoughts on those who look strictly at the numbers to determine whether or not there's been progress.
There's been this generational shift about the role of Black Americans in the national pastime. And Major League Baseball has invested heavily in, for example, places like the Dominican Republic to create the next generation of ball players on the cheap. That's globalization. And similar investment baseball has tried in some inner cities, and that's to their credit that they recognize there's a problem. But baseball cannot fill the gap of massive industrial and economic forces that have gripped this country over the last 20 years.
I talked to Dave Roberts, the manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he does his best to make certain that young people can contextualize what really took place. Give me your hope.
I hope people remember the last time that Jackie Robinson was ever on a ball field, which was the World Series in 1972, just days before he died of a heart attack. And Jackie was in very ill health. He was 53 years old, but he looked much older than that. He took the microphone, and instead of just thanking everybody and taking in the applause, he called out Major League Baseball for its absence of Black managers. It was such bravery for him to do that in that moment. And I think I would like us to remember that there is no higher calling than being a truth teller. And Jackie Robinson's willingness to tell difficult truths in difficult situations is something we would all do well to emulate.
I mean, Jackie Robinson was simply one of the greatest, forget athletes, just one of the greatest Americans who ever lived. Not only for breaking the color barrier in 1947, you saw he was a veteran at a time when it wasn't easy to be a black man in the United States military. And after and throughout his baseball career, the changes that he pushed for are, I think, and JB said it earlier when he was on CBS Mornings, are what made him immortal.
And they live on, and thankfully we celebrate him
That's right.
still 75 years later.
We do.